Howdy, howdy. We are back again. I'm Susan. That's Robert, and he's got something on his mind.
I do. I went to a friend's father's end of life celebration yesterday. He had passed about 3.5 months ago. Dear man, known him since I was a kid, and later in life he became also a realtor, so had both personal and professional relationship with him. Funny, lovely, loved by many people, and focus on end of life and then putting the word celebration in with it is a tricky balance and interesting and just split me wide open. Well, one of
Right.
his sons are both good friends. One is a very close friend. The other one's a little older. The older son was giving one of many great speeches, and he was telling stories about his dad, who was beautifully flawed. Not only a wonderful guy, he would just just he got things wrong all the time. He loved to gamble. He loved to teach the kid. I don't mean no judgment on those things. There's things that other people would call flaws, right? And yet he owned them all. He lived with them all out loud, kind of in the Belushi sense, that Rob talks about. But the phrase that Kevin, his son, used was about to describe his father was often wrong, never in doubt. And I
Oh,
just
no.
love
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, whatever you hear there. I love that phrase.
Yeah, that says it all.
It does, it speaks toward confidence. I guess that's the thing. And we talk about that a lot in our play because, that word wrong is so judgmental, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When we are thinking terms of life of right or wrong, wrong is a stop sign, it's a freeze,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
shame,
yeah, yeah.
right? And that's why we focus so much on no wrong answers, right?
Hmm.
And that's why never in doubt. It's like the perception, yeah, that was wrong. And guess what? Kept going, blew through the stop sign anyway.
Right, right. Yeah, not a problem. Just keep on going.
Have you met someone like that who's just seemed to kind of, march to the beat of his or her own drum? And
That's a larger than life kind of person you're describing there.
that's right.
Actually,
That's right.
yeah. My folks were friends with a guy who was kind of halfway between my folks' generation and mine. So, kind of age-wise. And he was married, and he and his wife met at Bob Jones University. They were like super, conservative uh, people of faith. And they got sent to um, somewhere in South America to do missionary work. And David got caught up in the whole voodoo thing. And so, I mean, it really spoke to him. And it kind of became a big part of his life, even when they left and came back to the States. Well, they got kicked out. They got kicked out.
Didn't
And
fit with Bob Jones, huh?
yeah, yeah, that was a big deal. When he was at Bob Jones University as a college student, age student, the phone rang one night at 11 o'clock and he looked at his roommate and he said, "That's the news of the death of my father." His father was in his 40s, not sick. And it almost like scared him, but it was so clear, and it was. And it gave him permission to believe in this second sense that he had of what people would call ESP.
Yeah, yeah.
And after that, after he got kicked out of church, he made his living through being truthful about what he felt or saw in response to a question that you would ask him.
Hmm.
Chip and I would hang out with him a lot. And one time, he and his wife, they had it was either a round bed or a heart shaped bed. And in those days, one of the ways he made a living was he would conduct radio shows over the phone. And he said, "Why don't you guys come in here and pile on my bed with me?" He was this huge, he was 6'4". He was this big, strong, powerful guy. And this lady asked him, she said, "I've lost my wedding ring." And he said, in like that, Robert, he said, "It's in an old shoebox next to an antique doll on the second to the top step going up to your attic." I mean, it was so specific. And she was,
Wow.
"Oh my God," and he said, "Please go check." and he was really frank and candid, and he had about an 85% accuracy rate. And it was he had the potential, at least, for that kind of
Yeah.
answer. You know, he was just bigger than life. He sang at our wedding. He and his wife sang at our wedding. He was just a wonderful guy. And he had a premature death, just like his father. There was a heart condition in his family that nobody knew about. And so, of course, we were worried about his two sons. But yeah, his name was David Hoy. And when I was clearing out my mom's books, there was a book written about him, which I found. And it was fun to find that again. And
That's awesome.
colorful guy. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the effect that, again, we allow people to have on us, especially those who may fall under the title of, kooks out there, whatever. So that's a beautiful story. Thank you
I
for
have to tell you one other thing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is crazy. He and his wife had a house that had one of those like attic rooms like this that they called their sex room. And the door was a zipper that you had to unzip to get into the door. And the inside was wall-to-wall mattress, and the ceilings were all mirrors.
This is going to be our most popular episode.
Just for people's imagination. We'll leave you there.
That's your daily dose.